Family favoritism revenge. My parents told me, your brother was meant to sit back and relax. They said I was meant to break my back. I cut them off. When they came crawling, I said, now I sit back and have it good. You're the ones breaking your backs begging. Hey, Reddit. Ever grow up in a family where you were the workhorse while your sibling got treated like royalty? That was my life for 28 years. My parents drained me while my older brother lived like a king who never lifted a finger. I snapped. When I stopped playing their game, their world crashed. I'm Michael Anderson, 28, male, from Cleveland. To understand how it ended, you need to rewind to my childhood. The writing was on the wall from day one. I grew up in a family with 2 sons, but only one king. My older brother, Jason, 2 years older, could do no wrong. He got attention, gifts, praise, the big room, the nice clothes. I was just there. My dad, Richard, made favoritism sound logical. Jason's older, he needs more. My mom, Karen, had her line, you're strong, Michael. You can manage. That was the excuse every time. One of my earliest memories of being second place was birthdays. Jason's birthdays were events. Big cake, decorations, presents stacked high. I remember his 12th birthday. He got a remote control car that cost a fortune. Neighborhood kids came over. My parents clapped like he was a celebrity. My birthdays? Smaller cake, maybe a t-shirt or socks. Mom would say, don't be greedy, Michael. Times are tight. Times weren't tight for Jason's big parties. School was no different. Jason was average at best. He barely passed classes, never tried. When he brought home a C, Mom patted his shoulder. At least you passed, sweetie. I brought home straight A's. Richard just nodded. That's expected. You're responsible. No praise, no pride, just expectation. By high school, Jason was the golden boy. He got the big room with a TV. I was crammed in a smaller room with squeaky furniture. He played soccer for fun, getting new cleats every season. When I wanted to join the team, they told me to use his old, worn-out pair. They were 2 sizes too big. It wasn't just money. It was how they talked. When Jason slacked off, it was, he's finding himself. When I slacked off, rare as it was, Michael, stop being lazy. By 16, I saw the pattern wasn't temporary. This was my role. Jason was spoiled. I was the one they leaned on. I wanted a part-time job to save for a car. They said, perfect. You can help with house expenses. Every paycheck, they found a need. Gas bills, groceries, random school fees for Jason, though he wasn't passing. Meanwhile, Jason played video games at home. When I asked why he didn't work, Richard chuckled. Your brother isn't built for stress. You can handle it. That's how it went. Jason was the golden child, the free spirit, always bailed out. I was the dependable one, the afterthought covering gaps. I didn't know it then, but those years of swallowing it, birthdays, socks for Christmas, double standards, constant, you can manage, stacked up. I wasn't going to explode. I was going to walk away. When I did, they weren't ready for what that meant. Even before I cut them off, Richard and Karen found a new way to keep me hooked. I had my own apartment by my early 20s. Nothing fancy, 1 bedroom, thin walls, neighbors sneezing through vents. But it was mine. I paid my rent, my bills, and felt some control. They weren't about to let that go. They couldn't force me to stay, so they invented the family emergency savings. Sounds noble, right? Like, in case dad breaks his arm or mom gets sick, we'd have a cushion. Except it wasn't for emergencies. It was a guilt trip piggy bank. It started with Richard pulling me aside one Sunday at dinner. He used his fake, serious dad voice, like he was imparting life secret. Michael, you're the responsible one. Always have been. Your brother, well, Jason isn't built for stress. We need you to contribute to a safety fund monthly, just in case. Karen, nodding with her sweet mom act, added, it's not forever, honey. Just until things stabilize. You're strong enough to handle it. Translation, Jason's lazy, so let's drain Michael. I went along at first. Maybe I didn't want the argument. Maybe I thought it was for emergencies. I set up a monthly transfer to their account. Not small, 1/3 of my paycheck. I told myself it was temporary. But months passed, and things didn't add up. I'd ask, how's the savings looking? Richard dodged like a politician. Karen changed the subject. Meanwhile, Jason had new sneakers, a new phone, even a tablet. I thought, wait, isn't this supposed to be the emergency fund? What emergency needs Jason to have the latest iPad? One night, I brought it up casually. So, you guys dipping into the fund already? Richard gave me an annoyed look, like I'd accused him of theft. Don't start, Michael. You don't understand family responsibilities. That line stuck. Me, paying into an account I couldn't see, didn't understand responsibility. Meanwhile, Jason's biggest responsibility was picking his next video game. I tested them to see how far their entitlement went. 1 month, I forgot to send the money. Not really forgot, I wanted their reaction. Richard called that week, no hello. Why didn't you send the money yet? No, how are you, just, where's my check, son? I played dumb. Oh, I thought it was optional, like a donation. My mistake. He got huffy, saying I was selfish, that Jason was having a rough time. Rough time doing what? Deciding between cereal or fast food at noon. That's when it clicked. This wasn't about emergencies or family. It was entitlement. They built a system where Jason lived like a king, and I paid for the castle. They thought I'd keep it going forever. I'm not dumb. I don't mind responsibility, but I won't be played. I started watching closer, noting dates, excuses, Jason's new stuff. If they thought I'd hand over money blindly, they underestimated me. They thought they had me cornered. Michael's too responsible to stop paying. They didn't realize I was planning my exit. No announcement, no scene, just a clean cut. I wasn't stupid. I knew the emergency savings wasn't for emergencies. I let them dig their own grave. They dug fast. The nail in the coffin came one Monday morning. I was scrolling my phone before work, half awake, and nearly choked on my coffee. Jason posted on socials from an all-inclusive beach resort. Him posing with a fruity drink. Him lounging by the pool. Him flexing a resort wristband for buffet access. Captions like, hard work pays off. Living the dream. Hard work? The hardest thing Jason worked at was picking a game controller. I laughed. A week at a resort, no job, no responsibilities, no money of his own. Guess who paid for his trip? Not him. I checked my bank app later. The Family Emergency Fund had a massive withdrawal the week Jason left for his getaway. That was my proof. The emergency wasn't Dad's broken arm or Mom's hospital bill. It was Jason's margarita by the pool. That night, I drove to their place, no heads up. I walked in, dropped my keys on the table, and went for it. So, I said, staring at Richard and Karen. The emergency this month was Jason needing a beach vacation? Karen gasped like I'd cuss it in church. Michael, don't start. Your brother's been under stress. I smirked. Stress? From what? Sleeping till noon and playing FIFA all night? Poor guy. Must be exhausting. Should we put him on medical leave from the couch? Richard's face went red. He thought yelling equaled authority. Don't disrespect your brother. He was meant to sit back and have it good. You were meant to break your back so he can. There it was, the line that summed up my childhood, said out loud like a family motto. I stared, then laughed. A full, real laugh. You're right, Dad. That's how it's been. I work. He enjoys. But I don't recall signing a contract saying it's forever. Guess what? That policy's expired. Karen clutched her chest like a soap opera star. Michael, don't be selfish. We're a family. Family sacrifices. I shot back, funny how sacrifice only goes one way. I skip dinners, work double shifts, hand over my paycheck. Jason sacrifices what? His thumbs from too many controller buttons. If sacrifice is the rule, it's his turn. Jason walked in, holding a soda, smug grin plastered on. He thought this was his moment to shine. Don't be jealous, little bro. Not everyone gets the good life. You're built to work. I'm built to enjoy. I laughed in his face. Enjoy, Jason? You're 30, getting allowance from mommy and daddy. You didn't earn a resort trip. You mooched one. The only thing you're built for is being broke without someone funding you. His grin dropped. Richard puffed up like a guard dog. Don't talk to your brother like that. Why not? I snapped. You've talked down to me my whole life. Maybe it's time you hear the truth. Jason's lazy. He's spoiled. You let it happen. He's not special, he's a grown man acting like a toddler. I'm done paying for it. The room went silent. The kitchen clock ticked. Karen looked at the floor. Jason stood stunned, like no one had ever called him out. Richard's face went purple. If you don't like it, get out, he barked. You're not telling us how to raise our children. That was it, the breaking point. I stood tall, looked Richard in the eye, calm. Great. Then pay your own bills. Emergency funds closed. Raise your manchild without me. Let's see how that goes. Karen shouted, you can't walk away. We raised you. We gave you everything. I laughed. Everything? Jason's hand-me-downs. Socks for Christmas? A mattress that squeaked like a dying animal? Thanks for the everything. Keep it. I'll pass. Jason tried one last jab, muttering, you'll regret this. I turned at the door, smirked. No, Jason, you will. I grabbed my keys, slammed the door behind me. Driving back to my apartment, I felt lighter than ever. They'd call me selfish, ungrateful, whatever. I wasn't abandoning them. I was refusing to be their ATM. For once, I stood my ground. I thought that was it. I'd walk away, they'd fume, then realize the free ride was over. But Richard and Karen's entitlement didn't roll over. It clawed, whined, begged. 2 days later, my phone lit up. Karen called first. I almost didn't answer but wanted to hear their excuse. She came in hot, voice trembling like a soap opera audition. "Michael, how could you be so heartless? Like I'd committed a crime. Your brother's been having medical issues. We had to use the money to take care of him." I nearly dropped my phone laughing. Medical issues? What, strained thumbs from gaming? Or a sunburn at the buffet? That's tragic. Should I start a GoFundMe for aloe vera? She gasped like I'd cursed her. "Don't mock your brother, Michael. He's been very unwell. The resort trip was for his recovery." I realized she wasn't hiding it. She was selling Jason's beach vacation as therapy. "You can't make this up." I cut her off. "Let me get this straight. You want me to believe Jason, posting shirtless pool selfies, was on a medical retreat? Mom, you could at least try harder with the lies. That's insulting to my intelligence." She paused, then started crying. "I don't understand how you became so cold. We raised you better. Families support each other." I grinned, though she couldn't see. "Yeah, families support each other. Except I was the support beam, and Jason was the chandelier. Guess what? I retired. You'll need to hang that chandelier elsewhere." I hung up before she could spin another tale. Richard called the next day, no fake sympathy. His voice was sharp, commanding, like I was still a kid. "Michael, enough games. You're the man of the house now. Your brother isn't ready to carry that weight. You step up." I nearly spit my coffee laughing. "Man of the house? Dad, I don't live in your house. Last I checked, you're still alive. You're the man of the house. Congrats. Enjoy the title." He got louder, trying to overpower me. "Don't be disrespectful. You've always been stronger, more responsible. That's your role. Jason isn't built like you." "Exactly," I said. "He's not built like me. That's why he's a 30-year-old man-child mooching off his parents. That's not my problem. You raised him that way. Enjoy it." He sputtered, no comeback. I hung up on him too. After that, calls came daily, sometimes multiple times. Karen tried the crying act. "We can't afford bills without you, Michael. We're going to lose everything." Richard went for guilt. "Do you want to watch your family fall apart?" Sometimes they tag-teamed, leaving back-to-back voicemails like a relay race of manipulation. At first, I picked up for entertainment, tossing sarcastic jabs, then hung up. After a week, it got annoying. You can only hear recycled guilt trips so many times before it's spam. The final straw was them showing up at my job. I work at a furniture warehouse, unloading shipments. One afternoon, I saw Karen at the entrance, red-eyed, disheveled, like she'd rehearsed sadness in a mirror. She waved me over, ignoring my coworker staring. "Michael, please," she begged, clutching my arm. "We can't go on like this. We're drowning. Your father's working himself to death. Jason's depressed. We need you." I yanked my arm free, looked her in the eyes, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Drowning? You had a lifeboat for years, me. You sank it on purpose so Jason could have a pool party. You want help? Ask your golden boy to get a job." My coworker's silence was priceless. Some tried not to laugh. Karen realized everyone heard her crash and burn guilt trip. She stormed off, crying. After that, I blocked their numbers. I was done with the calls, lies, manipulation. For once, I was free from their nonsense. Life on the other side was good. My paycheck stayed mine. I hit the gym more, joined a weekend soccer group, started dating Sophia, a barista at a coffee shop near my apartment. Nothing serious yet, but she listened, laughed at my jokes, didn't expect my wallet weekly. A huge upgrade from my family. Things changed fast. I went from stressing over their bills to saving for myself. I bought clothes that fit. I replaced my squeaky mattress with one that didn't feel like springs. I had nights out with friends without calculating costs. Walking into my apartment, seeing stuff I paid for, a fridge stocked with food I liked, a TV I bought, it felt like freedom. Something I never had in Richard and Karen's house. While I built a life, they replayed their broken record of entitlement, wondering why the machine stopped spitting cash. Spoiler, the machine learned to say no. Life felt normal. I worked, saved, hit the gym, played soccer, spent time with Sophia. My money was mine. No late-night calls, no fake emergencies, just peace. Then a letter came. A plain envelope from my bank. I thought it was an account update. Since cutting them off, I knew their bills were piling up. I tore it open. Thank you for applying for a new line of credit. We need address confirmation. I froze. I hadn't applied for anything. My stomach sank. The application had my name, my info, not my handwriting. It was Richard and Karen, dragging me back into their mess. I called the bank, shut it down. Fraud alert set, application blocked, passwords updated. Done. But the anger grew. Cutting them off wasn't enough. They had to chain me back financially, without permission. They thought I'd never notice, that I'd quietly pay their mess. Not this time. I drove to their place, letter in pocket. Karen opened the door, face lighting up like I'd come to my senses. Michael. I knew you'd. I shoved the letter in her face. Care to explain why my bank thinks I applied for credit I never touched? Her smile vanished. She stammered, your father thought. I walked past her to the living room. Richard was watching TV. I slapped the letter on the coffee table, hard. He flinched. Explain, I said, calm but cold. The kind of calm that makes people nervous. Richard looked at it, then me, not embarrassed, just annoyed. Michael, it's for the family. You'll understand one day. No apology, no shame, like he'd borrowed my lawnmower. I laughed, sharp and sarcastic. For the family? You mean for Jason? Let me guess, he needs another vacation or a new console. What's so important you thought stealing my identity was justified? Richard leaned back, unbothered. You're making a big deal out of nothing. You're strong. You can handle a little responsibility. Jason isn't built for that pressure. We're keeping things together. I stared, not just angry, disgusted. You're right. Jason isn't built for pressure. That's on you. You turned him into a parasite, decided I'd be the host. Now you think you can steal from me and call it family responsibility? No way. Karen wrung her hands. Michael, don't say things you'll regret. We're desperate. You'll understand when you're older. I cut her off with a laugh. Older? I'm 28. I understand plenty. I understand you used me to prop up Jason. You lied about emergencies, guilt-tripped me, tried fraud with my name. I regret not cutting you off sooner. Richard slammed his fist on the armrest. Don't talk to your mother like that. I stepped closer, towering over him. What are you gonna do? Yell me into submission? That stopped working long ago. You don't scare me. You don't control me. From now on, you get nothing from me. We're done. Jason wandered in, munching chips, oblivious. What's the yelling about? I smirked. Don't worry, Jason. You'll figure it out when mommy and daddy stop paying for your snacks. Their little ATM shut down. His face reddened. Man, you're such a jerk. No wonder they like me better. I shot back, they don't like you, Jason. They enable you. You're not the golden child, you're the golden leech. They built you that way. Congrats. He stood dumbfounded, chip bag in hand. Karen cried again. Richard yelled, but I was heading for the door. I turned back one last time. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't show up at my job. You wanted Jason to enjoy life while I carried the weight? Fine. Enjoy life with Jason. See how that works out. I left. That was the last time I set foot in their house. I'd blocked their numbers after the warehouse stunt. Now I blocked their emails, told my building's front desk not to let them in. Cold turkey. I was done with their games. Meanwhile, Jason circled the drain. With me gone, the money dried up. He borrowed from friends, then friends of friends, then the kind of guys who don't send friendly reminders. I heard he was dodging calls, ducking hangouts, owing cash. Classic Jason, thinking life would bail him out. Not my problem. I wasn't managing, fixing, sacrificing. I was done, and it felt incredible. Life went quiet. No calls, no voicemails, no work visits. My phone wasn't a stress source. No demands, no fake sob stories about Jason's depression or Richard's responsibility speeches. Just silence. I thought they got the message, but they were just falling apart. I heard it from Aunt Lisa, the only family member who treated me fairly. One Saturday, she called, voice hesitant. Michael, I don't want to meddle, but you should know what's happening. I braced for a guilt trip. Instead, she made me laugh. After I cut them off, Richard and Karen tried keeping their lifestyle. They thought squeezing harder would work. Bills stacked up. Rent went unpaid. The fridge got empty. They kept up appearances, Karen at the market, Richard bragging to neighbors about family values. But no paycheck padded their reality. They turned to Jason. Time to step up, Lisa said they told him. Get a job, even part-time. Jason laughed in their faces. Me work? That's Michael's job. He's the responsible one. When they said I'd cut ties, he shrugged. Not my problem. I'm not paying for old people. He raided their cash scraps, stuffed a backpack, and bailed. No one knew where he went, couch hopping, mooching like always. Karma, Part 1. Without Jason, they had nothing. The landlord gave them 30 days to catch up on rent. They didn't. Eviction notice slapped on their door. Their proud family act ended with belongings on the curb. They pawned furniture, scraped cash, got a deposit on a moldy room across town. Cracked walls, leaking pipes, neighbors blasting music. Karen tried selling handmade clothes, but her stitching was so bad, nothing sold. Richard picked up plumbing jobs, unlicensed, barely competent. People underpaid him or didn't call back. The same Richard who said, "You work, Jason sits back," now crawled under sinks for scraps. Karen, who guilt-tripped me with tears, haggled over vegetables for dinner. Word spread. A coworker's family lived in their new neighborhood. Neighbors whispered about the couple who spoiled Jason and pushed weight onto me. They became the block's laughingstock. Kids called Jason the prince who abandoned his kingdom. I didn't say a word. Their reputation destroyed itself. Jason wasn't thriving either. He borrowed from the wrong crowd, guys who don't ask twice for repayment. He was hiding, ducking calls, maybe skipping town. The golden child, not built for stress, drowned in it. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. I was thriving. The money they drained built my savings. I upgraded my apartment, got better furniture, took Sophia on a weekend trip. I paid with my money, no guilt, no demands. I wasn't the second best son. I was living like I'd gotten my life back. Lisa asked if I felt bad. They're your parents, Michael. Don't you feel guilty? I told the truth. Not even a little. They told me my role was to suffer so Jason could live easy. They made their choice. They live with it. She sighed. They never thought this day would come. But you were right to walk away. I was. Their collapse wasn't bad luck or the economy. It was their choices. They built a world where Jason was king, I was the mule. When the mule walked away, the kingdom crumbled. No guilt, no second guessing, just karma. Plain and brutal. They got what they deserved. Months later, a knock came at my apartment. I'd told the front desk not to let them in, but they slipped through. Through the peephole, I saw Richard and Karen. They didn't look like my parents. Richard, once loud and puffed up, looked small, shoulders slumped, clothes worn. Karen's hair was messy, eyes baggy. Life had chewed them up. I expected pity or guilt. I felt annoyance. They weren't here for me, they wanted what I could give, like always. I opened the door, leaned on the frame. Wow. If it isn't my biggest fans. To what do I owe the pleasure? Karen's voice cracked. Michael, please. We need your help. We can't afford rent, bills. We're barely eating. Jason's gone. We don't know where. You're our only hope. I laughed, sharp. That's rich. Your only hope? I was never your hope. Jason was. The golden boy, the free spirit. How's that working out? Richard tried his old tone, like I was a kid. Son, don't be like this. You're stronger than us. You can handle it. Family doesn't abandon each other. I tilted my head, smirking. Family doesn't abandon each other? That's funny, because you abandoned me for 28 years. You handed Jason what I earned. You said I work, he enjoys. You let him live like a king while I was a mule. Don't preach family now. Karen grabbed my arm, tears streaming. We made mistakes, Michael, but we're desperate. Please, just help us this once. I yanked my arm back. Mistakes? No, you made choices. You chose to spoil Jason, to drain me. You chose to lie, guilt-trip me, try fraud with my name. That's not a mistake, it's a pattern. Patterns have consequences. Richard's face twisted, half angry, half ashamed. We didn't know it would end like this. I stepped closer, voice low, sharp. No, you did know. I warned you when I cut you off. You were too busy treating me like a paycheck, Jason like royalty. You dug your grave. Now you're shocked to lie in it. They stood silent. No words. I stepped back, arms crossed. Here's the truth. I broke my back while Jason sat on his. Not anymore. Now I sit back and have it good. You're the ones breaking your backs begging. That's what you created. If you don't like it, you know what you told me? Get out. I didn't wait for a reply. I shut the door in their faces. Through the peephole, Karen broke down, crying on the hallway floor. Richard tried pulling her up, muttering something. They walked away, defeated. I felt no guilt, no regret, just free. That night, I sat on my couch, legs kicked up, Sophia beside me, laughing at a dumb show. I realized something. This was what life should have been. Mine, not theirs, not Jason's, just mine. They thought I'd carry them forever. They thought entitlement was eternal, that I'd never walk away. I did. Now, while they live in the ruins of their choices, I live with peace. They dug their grave. I stopped burying myself in it.